Hello everyone, my name is Melissa Mata or Principal Mata, and I am the principal of Jordan High School, a school located within the Long Beach Unified School District. I want to thank you for being here and listening to this presentation. I hope to provide you with knowledge and opportunities to help our youth. Thank you in advance for your time and attention. Here is a brief overview of what will be covered in this presentation. We will begin with an overview of the Long Beach Unified School District and Jordan High School's mission statements. We will explore budget allocations and the leadership hierarchy of our campus, as well as the stakeholders the district serves. I will provide an overview of my role as principal of Jordan High School and dive into the various departments and student support services we offer to our students. We will take a look at a few pertinent school policies that Jordan High School supports and learn a little bit about problems within school policies, such as the school to prison pipeline. We will explore the ways in which we can help our youth and provide policy implications and opportunities for future research and collaboration. We'll begin with the overall mission statements for both the district and Jordan High School. The district's mission: Long Beach Unified School District is responsible for ensuring schools within the district are up to par on current curriculum, removing barriers hindering student success, and providing smooth learning experiences through enforcement of evidence-based policies. Jordan High School's mission is to provide students with inclusive, equitable, and innovative learning that will facilitate their means to successful post-secondary academic opportunities and career success. They will encourage youth to actively participate and engage in their academics, all the while instilling confidence and integrity in their character development. The principal's mission is similar to the previous ones, but it encompasses more of the direct values and functionality of the campus they serve. So my mission as a principal is I act as a bridge of communication between Jordan High School and the district, overseeing all school functions, including staff and school operations, assisting with school counseling, and responsible for hiring of staff. I provide leadership and innovation to enhance students' academic and personal development. Below you will find the location and contact information for both the district and Jordan High School, should you have any questions following this presentation. Here is the 2024 to 2025 projected local control and accountability plan, which includes the general budget or general fund, along with a breakdown of where the funds are allocated and implemented through campuses. As you can see, of the total general fund, 53% goes to salaries, 27% goes to benefits, 14% goes to general services, 5% to books, and 1% to miscellaneous spending. We have 65,826 students across TK through 12 campuses, 84 schools, and 44 distinguished campuses. We have 10,000 employees. Please take a moment to read through the various goals and direct allocation of funds. In other words, where the funds actually go and how they are put to use to meet academic and individual goals. Here's a continuation of the previous slide. Please pause to read through the remaining goals and money distribution explanations. Here we have a general leadership hierarchy as it pertains to most of our campuses, including that of Jordan High, beginning with principals, assistant principals, teachers, and school faculty. The stakeholders that the district and campuses serve are the school board, district staff, principals, teachers, parents, and the greater Long Beach community. As principal of Jordan High School, it is my duty to uphold excellent leadership to faculty and students. I strive to advocate for students and faculty, ensuring the most up-to-date resources are available for our campus, facilitating a healthy learning environment. I prioritize a healthy campus culture where students are equipped to thrive academically, socially, and emotionally. The lessons students learn on campus go far beyond what they learn through a textbook. They also include the lessons they learn through their interpersonal relationships. I assist in the counseling and mediation of student conflict, ensuring parents and guardians are allowed opportunities to become active participants in their children's education and character development. I strive to promote a campus where diversity and culture are celebrated, ultimately allowing students to flourish academically and through proper preparation professionally. Here is a layout of the various salaries that principals make. Each step, A through I, encompasses yearly raises, and at the 20th, 25th, and 30th year of service, principals can also receive higher incentive pay. The levels of salary are determined by the highest education an aspiring principal achieves. Here's a screenshot directly from our school website to give you an idea of the various academic departments available to students. We have an English, English learners, mathematics, and science department, to name a few. Feel free to explore our website at your own leisure to see the various accomplishments our students have achieved. Here is a list of some of the student support services we offer in conjunction with the district. To name a few, we have a department specialized in keeping student attendance in order. We have an excellent homeless support program called the Bifidune Homeless Education Program that equips students suffering from home displacement or extreme poverty with resources they need to be safe and successful. We have a crisis coordination department and a school-based mental health department, which seek to support youth struggling emotionally or mentally, or with virtually any similar illness that hinders their ability to receive education. We have support for our LGBTQ+ students and suicide prevention programs as well. Again, these are just to name a few. Feel free to explore our website or the district's for a more thorough breakdown. Here are a few of the policies Jordan High School supports and upholds. There are several others, but I included these as they are pertinent and related to today's content regarding zero tolerance policies, which we will review in the following slides. Beginning with the equity policy, the purpose of this policy is to establish a common foundation of equity that will be implemented throughout Long Beach Unified School District. As an organization, we recognize and acknowledge our differences, and we commit to authentic, continuous improvement. This policy establishes a standard of humanity, compassion, sensitivity, and respect as related to accessibility and care with high expectations for all staff, students, and families. Our Non-Discrimination Act prohibits unlawful discrimination, harassment, intimidation, or bullying targeted at any student or employee by anyone. The Say Something Anonymous Reporting policy comes from the Sandy Hook Promise, which seeks to educate and empower youth and adults to prevent violence in schools, homes, and communities. Their proven evidence-informed Know the Science programs, they strive to teach young people and adults to recognize, intervene, and get help for individuals who may be socially isolated or at risk of hurting others or themselves. This policy is supported across all Long Beach Unified School District campuses. The Safe Place to Learn Act applies to all school personnel who witness an act of discrimination, violence, harassment, bullying, or intimidation, and enforce them to take immediate steps to intervene when safe to do so. Any student who engages in acts of discrimination, harassment, violence, intimidation, or bullying related to school activity or school attendance occurring within a school of the school district may be subject to disciplinary action up to and including expulsion. School to Prison Pipeline. The school-to-prison pipeline refers to the systemic issues that push students, particularly those from marginalized communities, out of educational environments and into the juvenile and criminal justice systems. This phenomenon is linked to zero-tolerance policies, increased law enforcement presence in schools, and disciplinary practices that disproportionately affect students of color and those with disabilities. Contributing factors include harsh disciplinary measures, increased surveillance and policing, racial disparities, and socioeconomic factors. The official implementation of zero-tolerance policies, or exclusionary discipline, began under the Reagan administration as a response to increased levels of drug abuse, beginning the trajectory of the war on drugs. The Drug-Free Schools and Campuses Act of 1989 was created to instill zero-tolerance policies across campuses, followed by the Clinton administration's enactment of the Gun-Free Schools Act of 1994, which sought to criminalize guns on campus, but was later extended to include various definitions of weaponry. While these policies originated and potentially seem to have been created to reduce crime among youth and on campuses, it actually did the opposite. Disproportionate application of the policies through the use of exclusionary discipline solely on minorities created a devastating shift with lasting consequences in the form of racial disparities in the education system. Most of the students affected by the pipeline are Black, Indigenous, and people of color, most of which suffer from various external and internal factors and childhood adverse experiences such as cultural and personal trauma, abuse, neglect, poverty, violence, and inadequate nutrition. Zero-tolerance policies and racial disparities. Black students are more than twice as likely as their white peers, even within the same school districts, to be referred for minor nonviolent offenses such as insubordination and disorderly conduct. SCIF found that disadvantaged urban schools with the greater proportions of Black, poor, and Hispanic students were more likely to respond punitively than restoratively to misbehavior. This supports the notion that campuses across are focusing on retribution-based policies versus rehabilitation-based. They are instilling police on campus, and the police present on school campuses actually increase the use of weapons and drugs among students in comparison to schools who do not have on-campus law enforcement. Students are treated like offenders and criminals, and they will mirror that as an act of defiance. The major issues within school policies. Exclusionary discipline practices are counterintuitive in their efforts to minimize student violence, and they contribute to delayed academic and personal development of youth. Students are punished for the emotional and physical repercussions they face, resulting from significant personal loss, impoverished communities, and neighborhoods riddled with violence. Underfunded and underprivileged communities, primarily the homes of minorities, are over-policed and provide little opportunities for deterrence. There are three significant issues with state and local zero-tolerance policies. The first is that they act as a one-size-fits-all, without taking individual circumstance into account. The second, student suspensions are allowed for weapons that could be something like a water gun, or substances that could be something like Tylenol, both arguably non-threatening. And there is no distinction or investigative tactics used to rationalize the disobedience. Student academic achievements, learning needs, and psychological development are completely ignored. Please watch this TED Talk by sociologist Alice Goffman, shedding light on the realities of the school-to-prison pipeline and the racial disparities that exist under zero-tolerance policies. A Tale of Two Schools is a fictional scenario that mirrors the reality that some students face when involved in zero-tolerance education systems versus a restorative practice-based education system. Carlos had a heated argument with his parents before leaving for school, so he's running late. Please pause to see the difference between a restorative practice-based education system and a zero-tolerance education system. So we know there's a problem. What can be done? We can destigmatize mental health issues among youth to prevent the fruition of misplaced, disobedient behavior. We can include strengthening emotional behavioral skills into the classroom and help students find healthy ways to channel and voice their frustrations. We can increase funding and training for teachers and school faculty so that they know how to respond in a positive manner. We can minimize police presence on campuses and remove the physical assumptions that presume students should be policed. We can invest in social emotional learning and cognitive behavioral health programs. Address implicit bias among teachers and educate them on how it can affect disciplinary actions, and immediately address racial discrimination allegations. Restorative justice in response to zero tolerance and exclusionary discipline have recently proven to be beneficial by existing literature. Restorative justice practices provide a holistic, whole-school approach where inclusion, understanding, respect, and a sense of unity take the place of exclusionary discipline. Mediation approaches in de-escalating student violence and focusing on restoring unity instead of prioritizing retribution. We can eliminate exclusionary discipline, keeping students in the classroom, and finding the root cause of the issues that students face and address their immediate needs. Here's a breakdown of one of the programs the district offers for our schools, and one that I have implemented in Jordan High School. It's called the WRAP program, or Wraparound Program. And it is called this because essentially the mentors and clinicians who participate in the program are seeking to wrap around support for youth, ensuring every aspect of their development is addressed, as well as any individual struggles, external or internal. The program begins with an individualized plan or an initial assessment where the youth are thoroughly rated on a Likert scale, 1 to 5. 1 being needs immediate support and 5 being support met. Rather than focusing solely on the youth's struggles, the WRAP program also uses a strengths-based approach, where the youth's strengths are identified and maintained to ensure stability is met. Natural supports are identified, such as the interpersonal relationships between youth, their friends, family, and community members. Through this, collaboration is approached. Family is asked to be involved or friends to ensure the youth is well supported. Unconditional care is met through support such as crisis intervention or substance abuse support. Community-based approaches are also used in WRAP, and an example of this is our city's Parks and Recreation Department, allowing for opportunities to rise to keep our youth involved in the community. Culturally competent refers to celebrating diversity and ensuring our youth are educated and using appropriate, encouraging language. WRAP programs are team-based, and a typical team includes the clinician, mentor, the youth, and the youth's family or friends, and agencies that collaborate with WRAP, such as community sports teams and volunteer opportunities. WRAP programs rely on outcome measures to evaluate their programs and use the outcome evidence and research-based evidence to make appropriate changes when needed. In some, WRAP programs provide elements of social bonds that at-risk students, especially those in rural communities, struggle to find or maintain. Especially those in urban communities who struggle to find or maintain, as most of their time is unfortunately spent on surviving. Here are a few policies that seek to reverse the consequences of zero-tolerance policies or exclusionary discipline. Assembly Bill 420 seeks to prohibit suspensions for kinder through third grade for willful disobedience. California Education Code 48900W1 supports alternatives to suspension and expulsions for students who are consistently tardy, truant, or frequently absent from classrooms. California Education Code 48900V holds superintendents and principals responsible for using research-based frameworks to provide alternatives to expulsions and suspensions. Senate Bill 1273 decriminalizes student misconduct and brings more flexibility for teachers or counselors to intervene over justice-led involvement. There are several opportunities for future research. There is a need to identify the underlying cause of juvenile delinquency, as well as the role communities play in its fruition. Determining the effects of restorative justice as a response to the criminalization of student misconduct through direct feedback from its recipients could be most beneficial in its overall evaluation. I am ending this presentation with a few discussion questions to allow us to have an opportunity for discussion and collaboration. Please answer one of the following questions. Does your agency have any intersection with school policies? Does the school-to-prison pipeline affect any members of your agency or the populations you serve? If so, how are they affected? What do you believe is the most contributing factor to the school-to-prison pipeline? What can we do to support our youth and efforts to deter them from this harsh recurrence? How can restorative justice prevent the fruition of the school-to-prison pipeline? What specific strategies or programs do you suggest schools should implement to eliminate disciplinary actions that traditionally cater to future student involvement with the justice system? What are a few true alternatives to exclusionary discipline? How can we hold students accountable without hindering their education? I look forward to hearing from you all. Thank you for your time and collaboration.